What in the world is up? So today I'm back with another video. I'm going to be talking a little bit faster today just because I do realize that my phone literally has no storage. I literally have bought, like, I don't know if you guys have realized that iPhone has been like charging like crazy for that iCloud storage, and even then for some reason I still don't have enough storage. So I'm going to be talking a little bit fast today, but basically what we're going to do today in honor of the closing of this month, which has been Autoimmune Disease Awareness Month, recommendations for my favorite apps that I use to kind of deal with chronic illness. And so these are all recommendations from me and from the poll that I did in my support groups for lupus. So that's what I'll be doing today. I do want to point out that, of course, downloading an app and just depending on yourself isn't the key to dealing with any chronic illness. At the end of the day, we do need to be seeking professional medical help, but of course, it is always great to have other, I guess, resources to kind of manage and deal further with these things. So let's get right into it. Thing that I want to mention is that these are not only apps that you can find on your iPhone, Android, whatever it is that you use. Of course, all the ones that I'm going to be mentioning are things that you can find for free. However, they're not limited to just your applications on your phone that you can download. I'm also going to be mentioning other types of social media platforms that I believe that are really helpful to finding information that you might need, tips, ideas, advice, any of those things. First thing I wanted to mention are vlogs. So vlogs is probably one of the most resourceful, at least in my case, when it comes to dealing with my lupus, because there are a million vlogs out there that you'll find on the internet in regards to people who have been through the same situation as you. And not only will they be able to kind of tell the story of like what their journey has been, a lot of the times they'll go deeper into tips and tricks that you can really find resourceful in applying them into your own life. And so I do have a couple of these, but it's not to say that there aren't a million other sites that you can look for in regards to lupus or any other chronic illness. I'm sure that there's a million others out there for your specific situation. So the first one that comes to mind is Lupus Rebel, because Lupus Rebel is actually the very first vlog website that I came across when I was first diagnosed, because I don't know, I think it was when I started feeling that sensation that I mentioned in one of my videos with the balloon disinflating type of thing. And so for some reason, I don't know why that was the first vlog channel that came up, but first of all, Lupus Rebel is a vlog that is created by, her name is Dr. Connie Chion, I think that's her name. I'm sorry if I pronounced the last name wrong, but basically she is a doctor. She's mostly an advocate for holistic medicine and an advocate for lupus. So she has medical experience in terms of this condition, and so she a lot of the times will not only give advice from a medical perspective, but she can also input and combine her medical knowledge with her personal journey as a lupus warrior. And so if you go to her website, you'll see things like diet, different tips and tricks that you can use to kind of deal with the symptoms and things like that. And a lot of the time she'll even do like Q&As. She also has a YouTube channel. Most of these vlogs nowadays also have a YouTube channel to do like live chats and things like that. So a lot of the time she'll do a live chat Q&A so that she can, if you have any questions, answer that. Or if not, all of these vlogs websites also have like emails so that you can reach out to them and things like that. So that is Lupus Rebel. The second one that I'm going to talk about is My Lupus Team. So My Lupus Team is one of the other ones, one of the more popular ones as well. However, I personally, I don't necessarily use it as much. I did sign up for an account. This is the only one I think that you really have to sign up for an account, and it's still free and everything. I don't remember how long it took me to get approved to get into that, but once you're in, basically what it is just an online community of a whole bunch of people who have been through the same situation, dealing with the same chronic condition. And I haven't seen it as much, but I'm sure that if you have any type of question, I'm sure that you can post it on there and a lot of people will answer. However, from my experience, I've seen it as more of like a venting site, more of like talking about how your day has gone, overall being a support system for you in certain days where you want to express yourself, or if you need some sort of advice. That is mainly what I found my Lupus Team to be for. And then the last one I wanted to mention was Lupus Chick Official, started by a girl named Marissa, and she has her own YouTube channel as well. That's actually how I came across Lupus Chick Official, but she's mainly active, I think, on the vlog site. So that is just another resource, another site that you can go on to. She'll have advice, tips, diets, anything. She also talks about different labs and tests and things like that you can get for your results. She's actually the one that introduced, what's the name of it? I think it's Exogen. The lab, because I mentioned in the past that one of the things that lupus patient has to go through is constant blood drawings, and for the sake of labs and things like that, and so they'll end up drawing a lot of blood, multiple tubes in one day. And for someone with lupus, that can often be very difficult thing to deal with, can become very exhausting and come with its own side effects and things like that. So she was the one that introduced Exogen to a lot of people. It's just a separate lab, it's its own independent laboratory, and it really, they just use the one tube method, which is just they'll draw one tube of blood, and from that they'll get the same exact lab results that you would if you were to go to a different laboratory. And so you can go and check out her vlog for more of that information. I'm not that much of an expert with that, but that's just one of the many things that I learned from her vlog. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about was the Facebook support groups, just because I had already mentioned it before. But I think that if you're looking for something interactive, then that is probably the best way to interact with people who are on the same boat as you, whether it be for lupus or something else. Facebook always has some sort of support group. I'm sure you can find a support group for any sort of chronic illness, multiple sclerosis, different types of cancers and things like that. So if you're looking for an interactive way to connect with people who are dealing with the same situation, I recommend getting into a Facebook support group. So right now I'm a part of 2. I recommend being a part of a local support group, just because if you have something like a question on recommendations for a physician, then that they will probably give you the best recommendations, since they are the closest to you and they can give you a more accurate recommendation. But they also can be there in terms of, you know, if you need advice to get this treatment or the other treatment, they can tell you about their experiences from certain side effects of different medications. Even the COVID vaccine dilemma with lupus patients, obviously it's a little bit trickier for us to know whether or not we should get the COVID vaccine because of all the side effects that can lead to a lupus flare-up and things like that. I know that that's one of the main concerns with people with lupus, and so we've kind of just been tracking you know, different patients who have decided to get the vaccine through that support group. Another one is just a general chronic illness support group, which I didn't know about until a couple of weeks ago, so now I'm a part of that one, and kind of another way to just stay connected with other people who are dealing with the same condition. I also wanted to talk about YouTube, which is the next one. I think that YouTube is probably the one that I mostly use besides the Facebook support groups. Of course, YouTube is really good for entertainment. Now they have their own like original series and things like that, but inform yourself not only from a medical standpoint, but also if you're looking for just insight from a personal standpoint. It has everything between those two spectrums, and I think that both are valid. I think that as someone who's going through something like this, that it's important to have an idea of what you're getting into from a personal standpoint. I don't think that necessarily research departments will be able to give you that kind of information, but on YouTube you can find a lot of people who can give their testimony, or you know, their diagnosis stories, or just anything in general on their personal experience with lupus. And so if you're looking for personal accounts, there are a million, but just so you can have an idea, I've been following a couple of them. One of them is the official Bianca Media. I also follow Sarah May Ann, I think that's her name. And then I also follow Samantha Wayne. Those are probably one of the more popular accounts that deal with people who put themselves out there and share their personal lupus stories and things like that. But I'm sure there are a million others that you can find out there. And then if you're looking for something more medical related, then you can follow the more official research institution YouTube pages. The Lupus Foundation of America and UK, they have their own YouTube channels, as well as the Lupus Research Alliance. They have some, and then I think like Columbia's Rheumatology, Northwestern, those all have some pages as well that you can watch for medical information, things like news regarding it, if there's any new developments with the research process and things like that. Those are probably the best YouTube channels that you can check out. And I think that as soon as you get plugged into those apps, there are a million other resources that we can find. The last thing that I kind of wanted to mention, since it is an app related video, I want to talk about the more general, and probably they seem a little bit more obvious without thinking about it, but once you think about it, it's like these are apps that I definitely used when it came to managing like my symptoms and things like that. So first thing, a lot of people in the poll suggested fitness watch reminders, or anything related to like the fitness watch app to help deal with your like reminders, how to track days if you are active or sick in bed, and like things like that. If you have alarms to help set appointments, times that you need to like, you know, take certain medications, when to like pick up your kids and things like that. Those are all things that can be drawn back to like your fitness watch or just your phone in general. But a lot of people mention the fitness app really helps to track and keep organized those different concepts. A subcategory of that is the MyFitnessPal. One of the girls suggested that this is how she kept track of like an anti-inflammatory diet to kind of see which foods were trigger foods for a flare-up and things like that. So I didn't personally think of that, but I think that that's a really great idea, because that's something that all lupus patients, or most lupus patients, do, especially when they're in a course of flaring up. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention was the camera, just any camera that you have on your phone, to kind of keep track of like a photo album where you can take pictures of like certain rashes or symptoms and things like that. Because sometimes, let's say if you have a rash or something like that for a good while, and then, I mean, we have the worst of luck sometimes, so the moment that we decide to go see the doctor, or that our appointment comes around, all of a sudden we don't have anything anymore, and so we're just kind of left without any evidence. So it's really good to take pictures of things like that and keep them in like a photo album or something like that, just so that you can bring it with you to an appointment once you're seeing your rheumatologist, whoever it is. So yeah, those are the 5, I guess, apps that I found most resourceful for dealing with my chronic illness. Of course, there are a million out there, such as, you know, Lupus Minder. It's another form of symptom diet tracker specifically for lupus patients, and that's the one that I'm going to be using from now on, just to kind of keep everything in one place. It's kind of just a combination of all these other apps, and I'll kind of just see how that goes. I'm gonna start using it, you know, sometime this week once I download it and get rid of all this weird storage on my phone. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. That's it for this week's video. I'll see you guys next time, and that's it. See you guys. Bye.